Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I am joined now with none other than Dave Allen. How are you? You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
This is probably the best shape we've ever seen you in.
Oh, I thought you meant my suit and stuff. Yeah.
Both.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Well, you've lost a ton of weight. Tell me what's been going on. You seem more dedicated than ever at this point.
You know, I've not lost really any weight from the Brown fight. I've just seemed to slim down a little bit, maybe put a bit of muscle mass on, hopefully.
You have slimmed down. You may not realize it maybe in pounds, but you know when people don't see you for a while and they're like, oh, you've lost weight, or perhaps it is muscle mass, but you do look in the best shape you've ever been in.
It's the big lapels. You know, big lapels, they make you seem wider up top, slimmer on the waist, maybe. But I am fit and ready to go Saturday, yeah. Training's gone really well. No complaints about anything at all right now with my life or training.
Anna, do you need to get through? No, it's okay. You can go ahead. Yeah. If you guys got to get through, because otherwise people got to crawl. We're not going to have you crawl. It's okay. That's what editing's for. But no, you look in great spirits, Dave. You look and you sound like a new man. Where are we finding this sort of new motivation from?
You know what it is? I think success breeds success. That's the saying. I don't know if you know that in America. It's an English saying, I believe, an old proverb.
I've heard of it.
Oh, right. Yeah, so like the more successful I seem to be getting, I'm winning fights, I'm on a good roll. It's just giving me confidence, you know, and I feel like one win will roll into another one, and I beat the Brown fight, did it in good fashion, I was in good shape, I trained well. Just carried that on, just keep rolling it over. So I think effectively that's what's happened.
A David Price win means what for you and your future at this point?
It means a lot to me on a personal level. I think David Price is a very good fighter. He's been the best win of my career. And boxing to me, it means a lot. Beating good fighters means a lot to me. Like that's what I want. It means I fight Povetkin on the 31st of August. I would fight Alexander Povetkin on the 31st of August at the O2. It means I would get paid a lot of money for it. It means I'd be very happy about it. The David Price fight is the biggest fight of my career. The Lucas Brown fight was the biggest fight of my career. The fight before that was. So we're in a good position right now. We beat David Price. We're in a fantastic position. Like, I'm content with what I've got, but you know, Saturday night I'll be fighting and showing that I want more.
How do you handle the stress of it? Because I think, like we've talked about before, and I continuously read, when I read an article about you or a press release, it's sort of like win and continue moving on, or lose and retire. Seems like that sort of looms over your head a lot. How do you handle the pressures of knowing that, at least to the general public, that if you lose, they're basically saying, okay, now it's time to call it a day?
What it is like people only see world championships, world titles. That's all they see, you know. And will I be world champion one day? You know, I'd really like to be, but you know, you wouldn't put money on it. So it's not a case of that's not my be all and end all. So I will continue to box in a position where I don't need to box anymore, financially and otherwise. So this fight for me, I've not took it as a win or retire or win or like a win or bust. I've not took it as that. I genuinely believe, you know, win or lose this fight, I'll keep going. I definitely will keep fighting. It ends all realistic ambitions of world titles and European titles. It means that the British title, again, which it was before, till I've got a bit of confidence and a few wins together, becomes my be all and end all. The British title becomes my world title again. At the minute, I've got aspirations of going further, you know.
2 years ago, when we spoke, I want to say we were in Sheffield.
Yep.
And I know that you sort of had this mentality that I'm never going to go on to face, you know, the champions. I know you kind of, I don't know why in particular you had that mentality, but you just didn't really care, I think, to see yourself advance to that point. Today, now, is the goal to have the likes of Wilder, Fury, Joshua, Ruiz, Ortiz, those guys?
Yeah, the end game now is a world title fight. That's my goal now. At the time, it wasn't realistic to think that way. So I think very realistically. Like I'm probably realistic to a fault where I don't dream. At the minute, like realistically, beat David Price, I'm fighting Alexander Povetkin on the 31st of August. I beat him, I've got a world title fight. That's where we're at right now. It's realistic. So I'm thinking of it. I'm dreaming of it. It's there. So it wasn't realistic when we spoke. I can't speak. People say, "Oh, David Allen's this and that." I'm realistic. I'm not a dreamer. I know beating Price and Watkins 100 to 1 shot, but they're there and it's done on paper. Like I beat them too. It's there. You know, so it is realistic. As hard as it may be, it's still realistic. There's a realistic chance of happening. So yeah, when we spoke, it wasn't realistic. I was going nowhere. I was, I was fit for that fight. After that fight, it was just like I didn't see where my life was going.
Right.
I sit here today, in a good place boxing, in a good place mentally, in a good place financially. I'm just really happy and comfortable and content. So I don't have anything bad to say about anybody, but and I'm realistic about where I can go, and I think I can go further than I could 2.5 years ago.
I spoke to Tyson Fury, and he said that he believes that you could beat Dillian White, and that he would, wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Is that somebody that you would maybe be interested in facing at some point? Maybe wanting to speak to Eddie about that, or is your goal set? I know you said Povetkin, but I just mean in general. Is he somebody that's on your hit list?
Not really, because I look at it like this. There's so many heavyweights in the world. I wouldn't want to fight a friend of mine unless it's like entirely like I need to, or people want to see it. Nobody wants to see me and Dillian White. Really, I don't think. So
Why?
I just don't. There's no real clamour for it. Me and Price, people saying I want to see David Allen, David Price. It's happened. If people after this fight say I want to see David Allen, like David Allen Povetkin, it will happen. If people want to see fights, I will do whatever I can in my best to make it happen. I don't want to. I never duck and dive anybody.
You say you don't want to fight your friend, but you tend to be friends with a lot of these guys. So at some given point, you're gonna have to cross paths, and it's
There's a difference
friendship
between-
aside.
There's a difference between friends and friendly. Me and David
Okay.
Price aren't friends. We're friendly. I respect him and I like him as a man from what I see. We ain't friends though. Like I will fight my friends, but the Dillian White fights and Tyson Fury, he's also a good friend of mine, and Joshua. These aren't really.
So Fury's off the hit list too.
They're just not realistically gonna happen.
Yeah.
The Dillian White fight or a Fury or a Joshua or whatever at this point in time. So I find it very difficult in life to sit and talk about things that I just know aren't gonna happen. So yeah, I aspire to get to that level and be in them fights, but at the moment, I've got to beat David Price Saturday, and then we'll see what happens from there.
So let's talk about preparing for Price, because when you two stand next to each other, there's a significant size difference. So who did you spar with? How did you prepare for someone who has the height and reach advantage that Price has?
Preparing for fight. Basically, I get myself 100% fit. I think that's the number one thing for boxing, and that's the one thing I lacked before. I've got myself 100% fit. In terms of, I'm not going to go out there and find someone who's 6'9" and 18 stone and can punch. Do I need to do that? I really don't feel like I do. I've done some sparring. I've got my timing, my distance. I spar with some tall guys and whatever else. I've not done anything special for David Price. I've just got myself super fit, super sharp, mentally and physically 100% of what I can be, and I will just go and deal with what's in front of me. That's how I see it. I feel like boxing's a very, very hard but very simple sport, and I think people can overcomplicate it. We're not overcomplicated this at all. Darren, we know what the game plan is. We put that together on the bag, on the pads, in shadow boxing and sparring. But I don't think I need to go and get a carbon copy of David Price, go and find one and spar him. So, yeah, I wish I could be more interesting, but I can't.
You're a big jokester online. Really great sense of humor. Got to give you that. Not very many people can translate a joke in a text format and it delivers. So every time we read something, it's like I can hear your voice saying it. Do you feel that sometimes there's a bit of a downfall that comes with being charismatic and joking, having that sort of personality, because people tend to think, oh, he's not taking boxing seriously because he should be off Twitter, he should be in camp, focusing on his next fight. Do you feel that has also been sort of a double-edged sword for you?
Well, it's difficult because I could sit here now and I could have cured all disease. I could have world peace. I could have been the man in the middle of it all and got world peace and cured all sorts of diseases. And people are still finding reasons to dislike me. So at this point in my life now, when I'm 27, and I know myself at the back of my hand now, I start to be comfortable with what I am. I'm a bit strange. I'm having funny moments. I'm this. I'm that. I'm whatever. I'm not I'm not a model. I've not got model looks. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm all right with it now. You know, at 27, I think, you know what? I'm comfortable with what I am.
I think you could be a suit model now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no, looking a little dapper.
Yeah, nice one. But yeah, so people, I've realised now that I want people to like me. My preference would be everyone to like me. Everyone say, "Oh, I like David Allen, he's nice." But I've realised now at this point they're not gonna. No matter how great a thing I could do for somebody, somebody's gonna take a dislike to me for some reason. Maybe the look on my face, maybe the stuff that comes out of my mouth, maybe because I've got short arms. You know, they're gonna find a reason to dislike me. So at this point, if you don't like my jokes or you don't like who I am or what I am, then, you know, I feel like more fool them, because I know what I am, and what I am is a decent man, and I'm just trying my best to better myself and me and my family as well. I ain't putting no front on. I am what I am, and that's that. So if you don't like me, then, you know, I'm sorry. I know what I would say is that I'm sorry for that, but I just try. I genuinely just do try my best with everything, really.
What do you think that you would be doing if you didn't go into boxing?
It's a difficult question because I don't really know. You know, I left school with no qualifications to do anything really. So my dad was a professional fighter, so I went straight to the gym. Thought, oh, I'll do it. I thought it was going to be easy. It worked out really well, but if I'd known how hard it was, maybe I wouldn't have done it. But what would I be doing? It's a difficult question because really and truly, I don't know. I'd probably be in a warehouse just doing 40 hours a week. I'd probably have 7 kids, be married in a little house back home, and life would. Yeah, I'd have 7 kids. It'd be nice, but you know, plenty of love in my life. But I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So, really, for me, without boxing, I'd just be an average man back up where I live, just struggling, getting by, surviving, and I'm really glad that my life's turned out the way it has. I'm so fortunate. I met so many people. My heroes are around me, like David Hay. It's fantastic. There's so many pictures of me and David Hay now, like having a great time together, stuff like that. I'm just really enjoying things, and that's beating price. It just keeps this dream alive, I guess.
It seems like boxing, and maybe not in every case, but I don't really feel like you see very many kids who come from, you know, I guess you would say, is the correct way of saying like a high pedigree? Well-to-do kids don't necessarily go into boxing, right? As they say, it's a poor man's sport. People who feel that they don't have really anywhere else to turn, or that they want to just learn to defend themselves on the streets, they find themselves in boxing gyms, and this is sort of where everyone ends up. For kids who are finding themselves in your position at one point, where maybe they graduated from from high school, don't really see that they have much future, but they find themselves passionate about boxing, what type of advice would you offer them, seeing that you've been able to make this happen for yourself, but you've also seen the lows of the sport and also what it takes and the sacrifices that go into being here? What type of advice would you offer them?
Well, it's different with me because certain people, you hear the stories of Mike Tyson, he was in trouble, he was this and that, he had nothing. With me, essentially, I didn't have anything as a kid growing up. I was very poor and whatever else, but I was never in any trouble. I've always just been all right, really. I mean, I've had a few scraps, but I've never been in any kind of trouble.
So it's not like you were bullied, and then that's why you went into...
I was never in any trouble whatsoever. I've never been in trouble to anybody. I never brought trouble home to my mum and dad. I was always just a nice, respectful kid. Never went any bother at all. It was just a case of I left school with not that I had no education, because I'm not a stupid man at all, but I kind of squandered my education. I had no qualifications to go out and do anything, and my mum and dad had nothing. So it was a case of
fend for yourself.
It was a case of fend for yourself and go and make something of yourself, which is hard. At 16 in school, no qualifications. All you have at that point in time in my life, all I had was professional sports or a dead-end job. And a dead-end job, I mean no disrespect by a dead-end job. There's millions of people out there in what would you describe as a dead-end job. And they're the real heroes, really. I'm fighting David Price Saturday, and I love to do it, and I would hate to be in the job. And they're the real, like, going out, and because I've worked at times, I was a supply teacher, I've done other things, and it's the hardest thing in the world, you know, to go and do 40 hours a week in something you hate doing, just to provide for your kids and whatever else. They're the real heroes, you know. So yeah. So when I left school, I had to succeed at boxing, because if not, that was going to be me. I knew where my life was headed. It was headed where my dad's been. Look at my dad now at 60, and I think, do I want my next 33 years of my life to be like his? Not at all. And I guess that's why I bit the bullet really and really put it in, because I knew that all this was attainable with a little bit of hard work.
Right. And sacrifice.
Yeah,
Lots.
yeah. Like I've sacrificed. I've turned myself around. Like even just to look at me physically, you can just see I'm a different man.
Yeah.
I really switched on mentally. I've matured a lot as well. And
I was going to say that with all due respect, because I don't ever want to make it sound as if somebody was never mature or never sounded, you know, I guess a certain way, but you really have matured a lot in the way you speak about yourself, the way you reflect about your life, and how you ultimately see your career at this point. You just seemed a bit more, I don't know, calm about everything.
yeah, I think now before I just wasn't bothered. Just wasn't bothered. I wasn't really bothered what happened to me in any way, shape or form. I've got more respect for myself now. I think that's what a lot of people lack as well. You need to have you've got to have that self-respect. I didn't have self-respect. I wasn't really bothered what anyone thought about me. I was just kind of, I do ridiculous things. I look back at things I've done now and I think, oh God, I should have done that really.
Do you think that a lot of the reason why you have more self-respect for yourself today is because of what you've been able to prove to yourself?
Yeah.
Because oftentimes we spend so much time trying to prove ourselves to other people, but rather than, for example, your weight loss and you getting yourself into shape and really you prove to yourself that, hey, look, if I set my mind to something, I can actually achieve it. And then ultimately you feel proud of yourself. You feel good, and as you say, your confidence rises. Do you think that that's a big part of it?
Yeah, you know, I sit here today. I was at the press conference and I had a text from my mum earlier, and she was just like, she told me she's proud of me, and that's nice. You know, we don't have the closest relationship, but like, it's just texting me. I'm very proud of where you're at and what you're doing, and I guess people from where I'm from, they just don't do what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm not a world champion, but I'm achieving. I'm achieving professionally. I'm achieving financially.
Yeah.
I've just got so much more than I would have ever dreamt of, even a year ago. Never mind 10 years ago. Never mind 15 years ago. So I'm just proud of myself doing what I'm doing. Whether I got beat Saturday or not, what I've achieved, like I know when I look back in 10, 15 years time, I'll say, you know what, David, you did well for yourself. You've done really well. So let's get the business done Saturday, and I just want to keep it going, because at the minute it's just a dream at the minute, and I'm still in it, and things are still rolling, and it'd be nice to keep it going.
A happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us and talking. I appreciate it. I love being able to sort of talk a little bit more in depth about, you know, someone's life and really see where they've come from and why they are who they are today. So thank you for sharing that with us. Any final words?
I just hope everyone tunes in Saturday. It's going to be an exciting card, top to bottom, and me and David Price. You know, we're not really mentioning the fight. It's going to be an exciting one. It's a pick-em really. You know, it's what you like. David Price has got the experience, the size, the power. You know, I've got the hunger, the strength, the toughness. It's a fight of two halves, I believe. We'll see. I think I just want it that little bit more. I think that will show on the night. So I don't know. You know, no promises.
Yeah.
I will try my best, and we'll see where things lie Saturday night.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Bye, Fight fans.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else